quarters. They scored 48 in the fourth quarter. I don't know if we're going to get many wins if we allow 48 points in any quarter. So, it's a tough night when you're giving up that many points, and it's a tough night when you're not particularly, doing the little things that could create some separation. Down the stretch, we had that game. It should have been ours. So, we just look at ourselves in the mirror and just see where we can correct as individuals and as a group, just especially on the effort. I couldn't guard a stick today. Those guys were just going right around me. And, I was getting frustrated a little bit, but they kept attacking. And that's what good teams do and good scorers do. So.
If you could take us in the locker room, what's the communication like amongst teammates when, again, there are struggles defensively, some miscues down the stretch? There's a lot of veterans in that locker room. What's the communication like as you refocus?
Well, number one is just reminding Joe Harris and TLC that stuff happens, and it's not their fault. That was just a microcosm of what the game was like tonight. We had the lead. We were pretty comfortable. And then down the stretch, we just still got to be hungry until it's zeros on the clock. And as you saw, Washington was very desperate. And we expect them to play well tonight. Anytime the team goes up against us, we expect them to start hitting things that, you got to give respect, but at the same time, it's going against a good Brooklyn Nets team. So we just take this one on the chin and keep it moving.
Greg Logan with Newsday.
Kyrie, 72 points in the paint that you guys gave up. You're undersized a little bit. You lost a lot of size in the trade. Do you think that that's a persistent issue that needs to be addressed somewhere going down the line in this season?
We'll see. Like I said, we have the group that we have in our locker room right now. I'm grateful to be playing every day with them. And, though we'll allow the outsiders say we're undersized, we believe that we should be, winning every single game based upon our effort and based on, our offensive firepower. So, obviously the eye test, we're not necessarily passing it in terms of having all the big guys in the league. But like I said, we just got to match other teams' effort. And we've been doing that lately and, successful road trip. And now we get back home and play against a good Clippers team.
Brian Lewis with the New York Post.
Hey, Kyrie. You kind of alluded to it. But obviously when you're up 18 at any point and 5 with 12 seconds left, you would think you would win that game. But do you think that kind of thought process crept in earlier than it should have? Like maybe you guys had it in your brain, okay, we've got this salted away.
Well, I can't speak for everybody in the group, particularly what they're thinking. But I could say that, down the stretch, that's where we really got to make our mark, and we usually do. And tonight, like I said, stuff happens, and we got to take this one on the chin. It's no one's fault. If anything, we individually take our own efforts where we can be better, and then we move forward.
Malika Andrews with ESPN.
Kyrie, how are you assessing that last sequence? Bradley Beal hitting the 3, the inbound pass steal, and then that 3 from Russell Westbrook. And then secondly, are you looking at that as the culprit of this loss, or was it more of a we shouldn't have been in that position, and you're kind of looking at the breakdowns before that? Yeah,
like I said, it was a microcosm of the night. And I would never put blame on anybody. Not one person can take, one play that could dictate the game. We were up by 5, and we lost the game, and that's okay. Like I said, stuff happens, but we cannot continue to make a habit out of late game situations and not being, aware of the execution we need down the stretch. So. It's a tough one. It's a tough one to bite on the chin because we definitely, like you said, we definitely had the lead down the stretch, and we want to finish that strong, but it's okay.
Thank you.
Christian Winfield with the New York Daily News.
Hey, Kyrie, can you break down that last inbound play from your perspective when you have KD, you got TLC, and can you just go through what your decision-making process was on there?
Well, they doubled on KD from the baseline side and the top side, and I was just trying to use my eyes and kind of my ball fake to get the defense to bite. And as soon as I saw them bite a little bit going to KD, I threw it straight to TLC. Had a great chance to make a left-hand layup. Unfortunately, it didn't go down. But I like our odds in that situation, and also, making that shot, they would have had to come down. They had no timeouts. Could have gone either way, but it didn't go our way tonight. And like I said, it's not TLC's fault. It's more or less a couple plays before then, I feel like we could have separated a little bit more, in terms of getting that win.
There in the fourth quarter for the Wizards. I mean, it sticks out like a sore thumb. 48 points in 12 minutes. My Lord.
Most points allowed that final quarter in the NBA this season. Beal with 22 in the fourth. The Nets also 17 turnovers in this game, led to 25 points for the Wizards. Let's hear from head coach Steve Nash.
What were you seeing on the defensive side of the ball? I know the Wizards have, two great scorers, but what were you seeing on the defensive side that allowed the Wizards to hang around and give them a chance to steal it?
That was basically the message after the game. Gave up 149 points, 72 points in the paint, 48 points in the fourth quarter. 17 turnovers didn't help, but, the defense just wasn't good enough. And I think everyone realizes, we obviously had many opportunities to win it down the stretch at the end of the game there, but probably didn't deserve it the way we guarded all night. So frustrating night, and our level dropped, and we got to pick it up.
Was drawn up for that last offensive possession. TLC had the miss, but was it just a good basketball play on his cut? Was that the idea going in? What were you looking for?
Yeah, we had Kevin on the block there. He had his ISO or Kai coming off, and they flooded Kevin, so we knew that he had a cut, and somebody had the cut, and he got it a wide open one and just wasn't able to finish.
Malika Andrews with ESPN.
Steve, when you look at that, I guess the second to last sequence where Bradley Beal hits a three, inbound pass is stolen, Russell Westbrook hits a three, where are you looking at as the biggest breakdown in that sequence?
It's an unfortunate moment. Joe just threw it in, and Kevin was cutting the wrong way, cutting a different direction. So it's just an error, and it happens. But when you give up 149 points, that's one error in about 50 defensive lapses. So, not good enough defensively. And we can look at this layup or the turnover for the three there, but we shouldn't have been in that position. We had a big lead early. We let them stay around a long, long time until their confidence grew. They're a desperate team looking for a win, and we gave them a chance and gave them life.
Brian Lewis with the New York Post.
Hi, Steve. Maybe not quite to this extent, but I mean, this has been a reoccurring issue where you guys have faced some teams with, quote, lesser records, and you've had big leads and blown them. I mean, is this a case where you think, people, they know where the standings are, they know where DC is, and they just kind of took their foot off the gas and thought that this was over?
It's hard to argue with that perspective. It's kind of it's a little bit intangible, but it definitely felt like, it didn't mean enough to get stops. Maybe we thought we had it in the bag, but too many times we let them waltz right down the lane and get layups. And they're a good offensive team. I'll give them that. They spread the floor with shooters, and they have guys that can get to the rim, but our level dropped, and we let too many guys get to the rim to the tune of 72 points in the paint, and that is one way to lose a game for sure.
Alex Schiffer with The Athletic.
Hey, Steve, talking about that 18-point lead early on, is there one thing in particular that you kind of thought led to them getting back in it and obviously the snowball coming from there, whether it was the turnovers or just the defensive collapses?
Both turnovers. I thought we turned it over a bunch when we had the lead, or when we could have had a bigger lead even. Just allowed them to hang around and give them some confidence. They scored 149, and they missed a bunch of threes that they are very capable of making. So, it could have been worse, but I think we just let our foot off the gas, thought we were going to win, and that's a dangerous game to play.
Christian Winfield with the New York Daily News.
Coach, when you, I guess tomorrow when you go look at film, is there going to be any one area that you're looking for defensively, or is it, just like where are you going to look tomorrow to kind of get things back on track?
The most important thing, I think, is individual pride, making every possession count and mean something. I think too many possessions didn't mean enough to us tonight. We got to sit down in a stance and guard.